And you know, I really don't have a lot to say in a welcome, other than I just think it's so important that we are here together. I mean, we're going through such a difficult time right now. I mean, nationally and, you know, politically, health-wise and personally. You know, we each have our own personal things that are happening too. So we need to get together. It would be so wonderful if we could be doing it in person. We know we can't do that, and we've been so good about it. I know everyone on this call has been following the COVID guidelines, but I just wanted to thank everyone that made it here today, and just to know that we need SDA and other organizations like SDA that are bringing us together. And not just that, but are also looking beyond ourselves and into other actions that we need to take, which we'll be talking about today. So again, thank you for being here and comforting each other. That's all.
Thank you, Betty. So today we are excited to continue talking about campaign plans for the year. In December, we came up with a really great wish list of, you know, kind of what are our visions of things that we want to see changed, right? And this was all kinds of stuff. I think this was a year ago, but I remember loving that someone said, I want to see more dancing. And you know, but of course we want better housing, and we want pedestrians to be safer, and we want all kinds of things. So every year SDA figures out an advocacy agenda, which is just usually 2 primary issues for the year. And we're obviously working on a lot more than 2 issues, right? So it doesn't mean we're stopping everything else. We're going to continue lots of different projects in our specific program groups, but it means that to be able to be really effective, we want to figure out what are the 2 priority issues that we're really going to put at the top of our list, that we're all working on throughout the year in different ways, along with all the other things. So last year, our advocacy agenda was deeply affordable housing, right? Getting more deeply affordable housing in the city of San Francisco. And deeply meaning not just what the city calls affordable housing, which is often not affordable for someone who's living on Social Security or SSI, but it's deeply affordable. It's affordable enough for people who are on very low income. And so we made some serious, let me say first, so deeply affordable housing was the first part of our advocacy agenda. It wasn't, to be honest, as specific as we would like to get. So hopefully we'll do more of that this year. And then our second was to improve voluntary mental health services in the city. So on housing, we got units set aside with senior operating subsidies. We got more money in the city budget for senior operating subsidies for future units. And then we also got more money for individual rental subsidies for seniors and people with disabilities. And we made progress on rent relief in SRO hotels, so that more people are only paying 30% of their income as rent. So that was a lot of progress on that. Rhea, do you want to share the progress on the mental health part of the advocacy agenda?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Great to see so many people here. So our other part of the advocacy agenda was to expand voluntary services for mental health. And we have seen some of that happening in the form of Mental Health San Francisco, which is a new program to make mental health care close to universally accessible, which is being rolled out. And there's also some new projects underway to create alternatives to police for dealing with mental health crisis and homelessness. And so there's kind of in the planning process of 2 new systems, which some of our members have been involved in. And we're also still, building our organizing among Mad Mob and our capacity to kind of connect people who have experience with mental health conditions in getting involved in organizing and advocacy and supporting each other through the pandemic as well.
Great. And who is reviewing the wish list?
I believe it's Pyra. Pi, do you have the wish list?
Wonder if he's
I didn't know I was reviewing it, but I can bring it up. Okay, give me a couple minutes.
Do you want me to go ahead and you can do the next part?
What next part?
Hi, do you want me to start since you're not ready?
That's what I said.
Okay, so the wish list that all of you came up with at the December general meeting, we organized by issue area. So under housing, and keep in mind, these are general things, and part of our work today is going to be figuring out what are the specific campaigns, and we'll talk more about what that means in a minute. So under housing, we have end homelessness. I like that we are, what's the word? We don't set small goals. We let ourselves dream big. So we're going to end homelessness. We're going to provide education and information to the public and elected officials. Specifically, we talked about extending the eviction moratorium under the COVID pandemic, more rent relief, ending smoking in multi-unit buildings, which is actually underway, and creating more housing. Under transportation and pedestrian safety, we said, make sure seniors sit on policy committees, restore the transit service cuts, have free public transportation. So right now we have free Muni for seniors and people with disabilities, but what about free for everybody, where you don't have to worry about what you have with you? Moving sidewalks, that's interesting. Open pedestrian walkways on Market Street. Under health, we have a lot of stuff. Distribute service information, make sure that seniors and disabled people get the COVID vaccine, Medicare for all, get more COVID information, more food distribution, financial relief and food for everyone who's struggling, socialize in person again. I love this one, be kind. And then we have affordable healthcare and address mental health issues.
Wow.
And then we have a category on digital equity, and we have create more digital connections for seniors and people with disabilities, and get a phone. Someone may have to expand on that when we're in small groups. And then we have a bunch of things that we have in the other category. So that includes small business support, a new slogan for 2021, less corruption in City Hall,
Wow.
getting education money and support to SDA constituents and demographics, trees along Park Presidio. Oh, cut down the trees because it's a fire hazard. Climate change. And then broadly, we said combating ableism and ageism. Those are very different things. Via volunteering, coordinating with other agencies, and educating the public. Then end ageism in the media and anti-racist work. So don't feel like you have to memorize all of those. We'll have those in small groups, but just to kind of get us started.
Wow. That's ambitious.
Yeah, that's why we're going to narrow it down to what are the top couple things. So the next part is about how do we turn one of those wishes or one of our complaints into a campaign.
Right. So Ligia and I are going to lead the section. We're going to share our slides that we made. Give me a second. Here we go. Let me know if you see them. How do I? There we go. Does everyone see the slides?
Yes.
I can see it, yes.
Okay, great. We're also going to read it out loud for people who are on the phone, so don't worry. We can also send these slides to you as well if you'd like. So the first slide says, from issues to campaigns. And it's going to be Ligia Montano and me, Tasamna. Ligia, did you want to say anything? Okay. So let's go to the next slide. Training goals for today. It's going to be a really quick training of 15 minutes. We're going to cover what a campaign is, and we're going to learn different components of a campaign, what it takes to create one. And we're going to look at an example of our short campaign back in June 2020, when we got the state of California to change the crisis care guidelines that were released earlier in March 2020 that were discriminatory against seniors and people with disabilities. So it was a successful campaign. We're going to look at that. And we're going to also master skills in creating an effective political campaign based on a single issue. So let's go. First, what is a campaign? Ligia, whenever you want to jump in, just give me a signal. I'll hand the mic over to you.
Okay, I'm not sure if you you guys can hear me now, huh? Okay. So campaign is a plan of different tactics to meet the demands, and it can be quick, a couple weeks, or many years. And we have some demands. When we are talking about campaigns, we are talking about our demands as organization with all of you. So comes from the issue, and the issue will kind of determine who's the target, the person in power that can make the decision to give us what we want. Okay, next.
Yeah, so what is an issue versus a wish? We have a wish list, but how do we go from a wish to an issue, right? So we have a wish that is a general dream without a specific solution, but an issue is a problem that affects many people. So our collective wish can be a demonstrating our collective issue, right? And an issue has to have a specific solution to the problem. So for example, the issue was the rationing care against people with disabilities and seniors was discriminatory, right? We shouldn't have care rationing at all. The wish is no discrimination against people with disabilities and seniors in healthcare.
So this is how the care rationing campaign starts. We have the issue, the COVID care rationing news against people with disabilities and older people in Italy, New York City, NOLA, California State also had the crisis care guidelines released in March that were discriminatory, and that was a danger for people, you know, that would be turned away from care based on discriminatory evaluations of quality of life. So.
Yeah. So, oops, there we go. So first, before we move on to creating a campaign, right, we need to understand what are we going to ask for and who are we going to ask it from. So number one, let's go into details. What is a demand? Is what can we ask a person, our target, to do? And the demand needs to be specific, right? So in this case of the crisis care guidelines campaign, our demand was specifically change the state care rationing guidelines, and we provided some language that, along with, of course, other coalitions who are working on this, we created language that were suggested that was containing anti-discriminatory clauses. So the second one, target. Who is a person who can make change? And here it's important that it's not an institution, right? Like a USPS, really big, or state of California, it's really big and really vague. How do we hold responsible just the whole state, right? It's going to be a person or people who we can put pressure on and keep them accountable to their word. If they commit, okay, I'm going to actually make change, we can keep their word we can make sure that they keep their word. Yeah. So here we were focusing on Governor Newsom and California DPH's the state public health director. So Sonia Angel. Yeah, so the reason why we were focusing on those two was because Newsom signed the first document, and also California DPH released the first draft of the guidelines, right? So it was pretty clear from the first draft of the discriminatory crisis care guidelines, our targets were becoming clearer. But sometimes it might take some research to figure out. Like sometimes when our target is, let's say, Bank of America, we might need to do some online search. Who is the head of Bank of America, for example? Or if we're looking at SF Muni, right? Who is going to be the person who we can put pressure on? Sometimes it can take some time, or power mapping for bigger campaigns to figure out who our targets are.
Yeah, and so who's going to benefit? Who's with us and who's against us? So our constituents, people with disabilities and seniors. And we cannot also disregard the equity part. We need to account for racial, class, immigration status discrimination in treating all seniors and people with disabilities. People in those groups were more affected by the virus. Also make sure to include anti-discriminatory language, not only based on ability and age, but also race and class. And this is one of the things that we were demanding from the people that were creating these guidelines. And who is our allies? People and organizations that agree with our issue and want to win the issue for the very same reason we do. And the opponent people and organizations that are not on our side of the issue, and who stand to lose something if we win our issue. And in this case, we think that maybe the hospitals, because they do have in time of crisis, they have what is called that, a waiver, so they can like do whatever they want. But one of the things on this also is that we are the ones, that can move. We need this. The constituents is also our power. This is our power in numbers. So next.
So we have all these different players. We have the target, we have our allies, we have people who could be opposing us, we have our demands that we're going to ask from our target, right? So now it's time to plan. What are the tactics that we're going to use? What are the different actions that we're going to take to put pressure on the target? Because sometimes it's as easy as saying you should do this and they will follow, but most of the time it's not that easy, right? So it takes many different planning, maybe an email blasting or phone call blasting, or when back in the day, right, doing an in-person action, maybe occupying, I don't know, okay, maybe I shouldn't say occupying because that's too soon. Yeah, it's so different things that we do to try to pressure the target into making the decision we want them to make in order for us to win our issues, so to get the demands that we're asking for. And lastly, the goal. What was the goal in our campaign? The goal was that people with disabilities and seniors get the treatment they need regardless of their age and chronic conditions, right? And did we get the state to change the guidelines? Yes. And what follows now? Now it follows that the hospitals are actually following those guidelines, and we need to keep now the hospitals accountable. So now the short campaign that we have won can also become a longer campaign. So
yeah, and some things to take into consideration when we are doing a campaign is the campaign criteria for us. So SDA values strive for social justice, work with excluded and marginalized communities, build a safe, inclusive, and loving community, respect and learn from the variety stories of individuals and communities, challenge inequality, stigma, and all forms of oppression within our organization and in society, and be creative and have fun. And I gotta say, you know, we have a lot of problems around um, the issue of care rationing, and it's been happening for a long, long time. It's not just with COVID, um, but now it's worse. Um, and some people, they are already by default excluded. That's the case for undocumented seniors, and so that's why we need to make sure that we continue this. So next.
Yes, and we also have our own specific campaign criteria, right? So not all issue solutions need campaigns. So sometimes we have our individual needs that could be addressed by, I don't know, going through a resource or something like that. But sometimes our collective issue, when the issue repeats that we personally have repeats for many, many people, we can actually make a policy change or a bigger change that would guarantee that everyone would get better treatment, right? So here we have the specific campaign criteria for us to guide us in thinking about our advocacy agenda later on in our breakout rooms. So we have a requirement so that a campaign is able to make or ask for specific change that we can really accomplish or win. We need to have a campaign that addresses high priority issues facing seniors and people with disabilities, who are us, SDA, and offers the campaign should offer a unique contribution for SDA in sea of many different organizations and activists, right? We can be part of other coalitions in their campaigns, like we've been many, many times, and we can also be leading our own campaign. And that campaign needs to be unique to SDA. And that campaign also might bring in new members, get more people interested, because again, an issue is something that is shared, right? More people are sharing the issue. And it will help build collaborations across, so maybe creating new coalitions and new connections to organizations. And it also must provide opportunities to develop our leadership, not only amongst staff, right? We're talking about member leaders. We're talking about all the leadership opportunities that the campaign will bring for all of you. And another thing is, it should connect to our mission and strategic goals, right? It should be thinking about not only what is important for SDA right now and in the past, but also what will be important for us in the future. How do we want to build San Francisco together of the future, right? And lastly, but not least, it should fuel all of the existing work at SDA. So it can't be something that is completely different. We do not have an environmental, for example, program. And if it's connecting to all of our programs, maybe it would be a campaign that could be working for us, but just an environmental program is not connected to any of ours, right? So just thinking about those things.
So that's where we are. People power, my stake, yours. My stake, what is my personal stake in this fight? Where is the passion? And your stake, how do we get more people involved? All of us are responsible in building our power. So think about all the people that you know that might be interested on this issue, that you want to work with us. You already heard the wish list that Jessica read, and so we have a lot of different things, and we're going to decide from those wishes and turn it into a campaign. So that's our presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that all of us are responsible in in making sure that a campaign succeeds, right? It might be not necessarily something that would resolve our issues instantaneously. When a campaign is long, it is long. However, it is important for all of us to find the stake that we have in the fight for better San Francisco for everyone, a better Bay Area, better California for everyone, right? A better US. And it's about personal empowerment, and it's about how I can contribute to this society, right? To the future and to the present and to the past of this world. So it might not be necessarily like resolving your issue the next day, but we want you to you all are here because you care, right? So when you're thinking about the advocacy, what is the fight that I really care about? What is something that I think we should change in this city? What is an issue that I really, really care about?
And remember also that sometimes, things change, and campaigns are kind of like living creatures, and they're gonna be changing because whatever is happening right now is gonna be different. Like with the care rationing, we've been doing different things. First was the the guidelines, and now we're doing stuff related to the vaccines because this is how the issue is moving, and so our campaign is moving with it. And so just to understand that sometimes not everything is, in one direction. So do you have any? Oh, okay. Any questions? Are we ready to go into our breakout rooms?
So yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just want to read over really quick what's in the agenda. Sorry, my dogs are trying to get my attention. They hear something outside. But the next portion it has to do with what we were just talking about, and creating a 2021 campaign idea. So we're basically everything that Lygia and Dawson just so brilliantly laid out and clearly. We're going to take that into the breakout rooms, and we have different groups for each area, and everyone will be broken out, and then we will decide based on the wish list and how many people voted. The more people that voted, we'll take those top issues and create a campaign, or how we think we could get that done. At least we'll start it based on the format that was just laid out. So we have housing 1 group will be me, Freddie. Housing 2 group will be Jessica. Healthcare, home care group 1 will be Lygia. Healthcare, home care group 2 will be Rhea. And transit 1 group will be Pi. Transit 2 group will be Dawson. And our fabulous digital person, digital leader, digital equity will be Peter, and Sarah will take care of any other issue. It'll just be a collective group.
So we need to find out where you all want to be. I'm going to ask people to say your name when I call a category, and I will try to put you there. This is going to be a little complicated, but I think we can make it work. Actually, if you can put in the chat, that would be the easiest. And then I'm going to ask staff to tell me where to put people, because it's hard to look at it all at the same time. So the options are housing, healthcare, and home care, which includes mental health, transit, digital equity, and other, which is anything else that you're interested in is going to fall under the other. So for maybe folks on the phone, since you can't put it in the chat, who on, and go ahead and unmute yourselves because everyone is muted. If you're on the phone, you can hit *6 to unmute yourself. So who wants to be in healthcare, home care, mental health?
Anna B.
Michael.
Susie.
Betty,
Michael Lyon.
I'm sorry, Anna B, Susie, I got Michael. Anybody else?
Betty,
Okay.
Jorma, mental health.
Great.
We can only do one group, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Here too.
Okay, we can come back to that. Who wants to be in transit?
Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
Carmen.
Huh?
Charles.
So great to hear all your voices, even briefly. Go ahead. Who else for transit?
That's good.
Karen, do you want transit?
Well, that's why I asked if we could do more than one, but I think I'm going to go housing.
Okay. Anybody else for transit?
Yeah, Jessica, this is Susie. Changed mine from healthcare to transit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doesn't want to let me do that, Susie. I may have to do that later. Oh, there we go.
Mike and home care.
Okay. You said Mike?
Yes.
Can I get staff to change the name for phone people because it doesn't show up in breakout rooms? Oh, Mike, that's you, 531-5495.
That's not me.
Okay, I think I got that right. Okay, who wants to be in the digital equity group?
Me, Kate.
Yay. Who else? Okay, who wants to be an other to work on, to talk about climate change or other ableism, ageism, anti-racist work that didn't fall under the other stuff?
We can do only one group, right?
Only one group, yeah. And keep in mind, this is not a commitment for what you're going to work on all year or where you're going to be stuck. This is just what you want to spend some time thinking about campaigns for right now.
Well, I like everything.
Okay, who wants to be?
I want to go get him.
Who wants to be in the housing group?
Henny.
Uh-huh.
Greg.
Karen.
Okay, I got Greg, I got Karen. Who else?
Eric.
I got Eric already.
Tony. I'm in the housing. Sylvia.
Tony. Okay, I got Sylvia.
Okay.
Pat.
Sorry, who else?
Jorma.
Oh, Dharma, I thought you said mental health.
I wasn't really sure about the digital equity. What is that exactly?
Oh, God.
That's to talk about like people having digital like connections to internet, having computers, having training. Actually, it'd be great if you go there because that group is really small. Would you be willing?
Well, I need more training. Definitely.
Me too.
Put me at, this is
Okay.
Jane. Put me at the digital.
Okay.
Hello.
If you have too many people on healthcare and home care, mental health,
We do not.
you don't. If you have too many, move me to digital.
Okay, Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes, Pat, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted the housing.
This is Vanessa, Jessica, and I put in the chat that I wanted the mental health.
Great.
And you got me for housing, Henny?
I did.
Jessica.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold
Flor.
on. Who just said mental health?
Me,
Vanessa?
Vanessa. I put it in the
Yeah.
chat, but I guess no one's looking.
Thank you. Why isn't this working? Sorry.
Flor Ramos wants to be in equity. Zero equity.
I will.
Buck wants to be in housing.
Sorry, some people aren't showing up. Is Flor?
She's on the Spanish phone line, so she'll be with Florencia.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Florencia there. Okay.
Yeah.
With healthcare, Beverly.
Is that Beverly?
Yeah.
Healthcare, you said?
I didn't hear me. This is Tony. I want housing.
Okay, I already got you, Tony.
Thanks.
Jessica, this is Buck. Have you got me housing?
I did put you in housing. I didn't even give you a choice. I just took my best guess.
Oh, hey, I follow direction well. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm having some problems. I can't seem to move Dharma. Dharma, are you okay with healthcare and home care?
Dharma?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a problem with that. It's somehow not letting me move people.
So Dharma, the mental health request, is that okay if you stay in that one?
I think I can move people after we go into rooms. So, and also, so we're just gonna have one transit room because we don't have that many people. So, Dawson, since Pi's having some Zoom issues, I'm gonna put you in transit as well, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. Oh, we only have one person in other. Okay, so we can move people after. Here's what I'm gonna do. If this is okay, staff, please speak up if this is not, or anyone else. I'm gonna go ahead and open the breakout rooms. We're running a little behind, so maybe we'll do like 12 minutes and we'll see if that's enough. And if not, we'll take a little more time. And in the breakout rooms, you're gonna talk about that issue and come up with some specific campaign ideas, right? So as Anna B put in the chat, something that is realistic and achievable, and you heard the training about exactly what a campaign looks like, how that's different. And if you're not yet assigned after we set up the breakout rooms, then I'll move you in afterwards. And I may also pop in and move people around if they ended up in the wrong place. So it may take us a couple minutes to get it worked out, but we will, and you can go ahead and start brainstorming. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Here you go.
Did you put me in chat? Did you put me in other? I had it in the chat.
Oh, I missed that. I will do that in just a second, David. Thank you. Okay, here you go.
Joseph.
Jessica?
Yes. Kathy, where do you want to be?
Housing.
Housing.
Jessica?
Kathy, I'm supposed to be in this. Oh, I already moved her. Oops. Maria, where did you want to be?
Other.
Other, great. Richard Rothman, where do you want to be? Oh, I know Alan's going to be in healthcare.
Health.
Jamel, you're going to be in healthcare, right? Oh, you have your hand raised, but you're on mute.
Yeah, mental health, I think it was. I'm coming in late, but that's what I heard.
That's perfect. Thank you. Oops, I almost moved myself instead of you. That's not the idea. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, David. You said housing? No, you said other. David, you're mute. Other. Okay. Dorothy, where do you want to be? Can everyone who's still here unmute themselves? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I came in late, so just put me another.
Perfect. Is there anyone here who wants to be in digital equity?
I did.
Jane does. Okay.
Harry
where do you
does.
want to be? Harry wants to be in
Digital.
digital equity. Perfect. Okay. Barbara, Kim, where do you want to be?
I wanted to go into Freddie's group housing.
You want to be in Freddie's group. Perfect. Okay.
I want to be on digital.
Okay, great. Eric, it's showing you here. Are you still here?
Yes.
Okay, moved him. Richard and Barbara, where did you want to be?
I wanted to be in housing.
Okay, great. And Richard, can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Transit.
Transit. Okay, sorry about that. Here you go.
It's just us again?
Looks that way. Hi, Liza.
Hey, guys.
Oh, maybe we're the first ones back in the main room because it's recording now.
Opportunity to suggest, Freddie, somebody should contact the assembly offices, one or both, and ask them, because it may be that David Chu has this legislation. Whoever it is will be able to tell you what legislation is proposed and where it is, and then you can just support it if it seems right.
Okay. Thanks.
Was that on housing that you were talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there are three. It's AB 1516 and AB 71.
Hey, folks, I am so sorry. Breakout rooms ended a little earlier than I intended. Are we good, or do we want to go back in the rooms?
We barely finished introducing ourselves.
Yeah. Go back.
I think,
That would be
how
great.
many minutes were that?
Sarah?
Not enough.
5 minutes. Wow. It went like a flash.
I'm sorry,
was
Sarah.
lots of
Sarah
notes.
has her hand up. Sarah, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to clarify because we spent a really good conversation about like what are topics. That's about as far as we were able to get since we were the other breakout room. We were just doing a first run brainstorm a little bit. And so I guess I just want to clarify for these small groups, are we supposed to be coming up with an actual campaign? Because I don't know if we'll be able to get all the way there.
Yeah, the idea is to come up with campaign possibilities. So you don't need to like flesh out the whole campaign, but for example, like in the housing group I was in just now, some of our suggestions are more rent subsidies or mortgage assistance, like specific things that we would want to fight for. Do folks want,
Jessica?
should we do 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Karen?
God, I can't do this.
Did I hear a 10? Did someone say 10?
10, going once, going
Going
once.
once.
Say 10.
What is this, an auction?
Doable.
Why
I'll
don't you
second it.
10 because 5 obviously didn't work.
How about we compromise at 8 so that we have time for the rest of the agenda?
Advocacy in
Okay.
action, folks. Amazing.
Right? Okay, 8 minutes it is. They're closing automatically. So just like, this is like a speed dating, right? Like, what's the campaign? Get it on the list. Move on to the next one. Don't spend too much time on one topic, right? Okay, here you go.
Karen has her hand up.
Yes, I do.
Oh, sorry, Karen. I thought I just called on you.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I missed it. I guess I was a little confused. I thought what people were doing in the breakout was coming up with ideas that weren't read off when we started the meeting, because I don't think we have completed or have even come close to completing getting the public to understand what affordable, quote unquote, is and what it isn't.
Right.
And
So these
so I
don't have to
don't
be,
want us to lose that.
these don't have to be different. They can be the same ones you can put on the list. Any
Okay, that's-
specific campaign.
I think
you can
that's
put on the
really
list.
important.
Sounds good. Okay, here you go. Hi, new folks. We're doing breakout rooms to think about possible campaigns for our advocacy agenda. Who's that says CLC en Espanol? You're on mute. And Liza, do you want to be in the mental health group maybe, or the housing group?
I guess I really want to be in the mental health.
I thought you would. Okay, I'm going to put you there right now.
Thank you.
Oops, theoretically I am. Oh, hi, Yvonne.
Hi guys, sorry for the delay.
Nice to see you.
This is my first time here. Thank you for the opportunity to join you guys so I
We're
can
so
learn more
delighted.
about SDA.
And your internet's working better. That's great too.
Oh yeah, it's working today. Great.
So it's housing, healthcare, which also includes home care and mental health, transit, digital equity, and other. Which room would you like to be in?
That's a good question. I would say,
Not a long-term commitment, just for right now.
oh, right now, okay, housing.
Housing, okay, here you go. Actually, I'll put you in my group and I'll be there in just a second.
Okay.
Oops. Welcome, Allegra. We're in breakout rooms. Allegra, do you want to be in housing, healthcare, transit, digital equity, or other? You're on mute, by the way.
Housing.
Okay, great. I'm going to put you in group 1. just us, huh? There they come.
Digital Equity Group, I'm just going to directly chat you all what I think was the closest summary of what we were saying to make sure. Sorry.
Oh yeah, don't forget to have one person from each group ready to read off the list of ideas. Leahy, are you facilitating?
Hey,
now?
Jessica, that list didn't get transferred over to the main room.
I'll send it to you again, Greg.
Thank you.
Jessica, could you switch me with Florencia?
I thought you were going to facilitate, Leahy.
I know, well, she needs a break also, so I can I do this part?
Did somebody mention my name?
Yeah, are you facilitating the next part?
Okay, the next part is meaning the feedback, the reports back from the rooms. I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. We just went through a 3.5 earthquake here. So.
No way.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I knew it. I felt it.
I thought it was the heated debate that was going on, but actually we went through.
I didn't feel anything, but I'm in Oakland, so maybe we just, and I have my foot on the floor, but I just didn't feel an earthquake.
Well, I'm in Concord, so I'm in way out there. So okay. So are we supposed to do a report back in each one? You want me to facilitate on that?
Mm-hmm. We're a little behind time, so hopefully each group can just.
Should we do all the
quickly
rooms?
the list of them? Yeah, we don't need to like talk about them, but just to read the list of possible campaigns so that people hear them.
Okay. Do you have a list who's in which, or should I just say, okay?
It's all in the notes, Spy.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not getting the notes. My computer's been upset today.
Okay, well, Freddie's the first group.
Okay, I actually was just asking, because I was taking the notes, I was just asking Pat or Steve or someone from our group, did you want to report back? I can just paste it. Pat, I think I already sent it to you. Did you get it? It's in the chat. The list that we came up of possible campaign targets. You're muted. You're muted, Pat.
Yeah, am I unmuted now?
Yeah, you're now.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, the most important thing is the thing that will happen the fastest, which is the eviction moratorium. We'd like to work on that and extend that until the end of 21, or at least when things open up again and people can return to work and make some money. That's one thing. And the other is also rent relief, which is also very essential. The rent relief, what do we do with the back rent? That's another situation. Anyway, those are the two basic things, in my opinion, is that we all think should be worked on. If anybody feels differently, go ahead.
Just really quickly, I will read off, just because you all did a lot of work in a short period of time. They were ready. So some of the targets, the potential targets, were David Chu, the mayor, SF Realtors, Scott Wiener. Allegra brought up some information about that. What's happening with him, small landlords and the tenants that are affected by this, and MOHCD were the top targets.
So I think the next one is Jessica's with housing too.
And that's Greg.
Yes, folks, we had a pretty rambunctious round robin. Let me tell you from, doggone, excuse me, guys. chat. Okay, here we go. We talked about AB 15 and 16, the coronavirus eviction. The AB 71, bringing Californians home, addressing homelessness, tax on big corporations, strong rent control, the overturn of Casa Hawkins, but not sure if that's winnable. More rent subsidies, create disability operating subsidies to go along with seniors operating subsidies, mortgage assistance, especially an issue for African American. It is an issue for African American communities tied to AB 15 and 16. Neighborhood preferences for affordable housing, rent forgiveness under COVID, preventing evictions, making sure housing units don't keep getting smaller. Doesn't work for older people and people with disabilities. And prevent discrimination in housing, i.e. disability with units too small to be accessible. So those are the things that we came up with.
Is it too late to add something to your list? Kathy Lipscomb speaking. Hello?
Jessica?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You know,
keep
I
it
think
quick.
we should keep an eye. This is kind of long-term, but I think we should keep an eye on this office building situation in terms of depletion of office space. I mean, depletion of offices going away, I want to say, because of the new technology and people working on Zoom from home. So I think the housing movement has to keep in touch with the broader housing movement on turning some of that office space into rental, into housing.
Got it.
And it's been mentioned in the Chronicle, by the way.
Okay, great. Let's go on.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one is healthcare. And in healthcare 1, we have Ligia and Mike and Anna B and Betty and Dama and Michael. Who would like to speak up?
Well, I can start off. My doorbell may be ringing any minute. But we talked about a good amount of time about the vaccine and concern about equity there. Of course, regarding not only seniors, but also people with disabilities, also people from the African American and Latinx communities, and how we could outreach, because I think that is my doorbell, I'm sorry, to them. So maybe someone else, Michael or someone could take over. I'll be back. Thank you.
Excuse me. What Betty was starting to say was that on the issue of vaccines and people being willing to get vaccines and overcome issues of distrust, that perhaps this would be an internal campaign to SDA, that we could poll our own members or people of color and to see how they feel about the vaccine and what would be needed to overcome distrust of the vaccine among our own members and among other seniors. We also talked about pushing the mayor to accept community input on how mental health San Francisco is going to be configured. That we could push the mayor and DPH about the prioritization of both testing and vaccines. So in 2 instances, for instance, you would have targeting by people's jobs rather than particular industries. Because if you target by industries, there are lots of people who stay at home and never leave their house would be considered targets. So it should be the nature of your job. And similarly, it should be your risk rather than simply your age that should qualify you. Because if you're, once again, if you're at home, you're at a lot less risk than if you're in a congregate facility. So we could be pushing the mayor on those kinds of issues. On the issues of single payer, long-term care and services for everyone, these are continuing campaigns that we always have been involved in, and we will continue to push for these things as they come up, but they aren't specific special things that we would do now. So thank you.
Anybody else want to mention? Anybody else from the room want to mention? Or was this, did Michael do everything?
Oh, there was one thing I forgot. I'm sorry. There was a question that came up about studying what the content for local IHSS training is. How much of it is about home care versus how much of it is about nursing home care. That's all.
Okay. Should we move on? Oh.
This is Liza, and I apologize. But I came in at 11, and I'm not sure I was in the right break rooms. And I can always bring this up later, but one of my concerns about healthcare is Health Right 360 is one of the largest providers for mental health and substance abuse and is funded by Mental Health SF. My question is, why are we supporting that when Hillary Supervisor Roden got on 60 Minutes and said it's part of the largest corrupt monopoly in the nation?
Okay, so you're actually, I think, according to this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jessica, Liza was in healthcare breakout room number 2. So could we, as a follow-up, could we have a report from that?
I mentioned that January 23rd is Ed Roberts Day. It's a state holiday in the 10th year for someone that was quadriplegic for 45 years. The same bill was introduced in Washington, D.C., and it passed the House of Representatives 386 to 8. I brought up that all the home care training in San Francisco is now done by the Professional Healthcare Institute of the Bronx, New York. And it's not Ed Roberts Liberation Home Care, it's nursing home care. So all of the home care in San Francisco is really nursing home care. I've been on the board for 10 years. I've been through the care training. And down at the bottom, it says PHI. All of the public authority healthcare and all of the, whatever the other big agency that does home care, it's all nursing home care.
Okay, I'm going to be grumpy right now, and I'm going to say, on the reports, can we just list what was the issues involved? And we need it because we're running really late. Plus, I'm a little upset with the earthquake that just happened. So let's just keep. I'd like to hear from. I hope I'm not overstepping my line. What was the list of issues that came up with? I heard you, Mike. The other issues that were coming up under this breakout group.
Are you talking about the healthcare group too?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one.
I can do a quick report back from that group. So that was me, Jamel, Vanessa, Beverly Taylor, Liza, and Alan. And what came up for us was monitoring and funding of Mental Health San Francisco, make sure that the mayor is accepting community input on the program. Home care, come up with a transportation voucher for home care workers so they can get to and from work. Pay raise for home care workers, and a hotline for home care so that home care employers or people who might be eligible or who want to receive home care but don't know what to do have one number they can call and get hooked up to services and information. That was the gist of it.
Oh, thank you. The next one is Transit One. Dawson, you want to do it, or somebody wants to report on our list of issues under transit?
Maybe a member, Rebecca,
Um,
Carmen, or Susie,
sure,
or
we can.
Charles, Richard.
I mean, I can go, or if someone else wants to, or I can. Okay. We talked about the fact that especially at rush hour, it's difficult for people who have all kinds of disabilities. I've experienced this myself, but other people I'm sure have as well, who are using canes or other forms of equipment to assist them with their disability. It's difficult during rush hour, especially on BART or other means of transit, to be verified a seat in a ways to sit down and have space for themselves. So we wanted to work on this as a topic of something to work on in public transit means just watching out more for people with special needs and disabilities in public transportation.
Richard, you want to mention the other topic we were talking about?
Speed and need to change the law in San Francisco, and also re-injure the streets, because we need safety to walk across the park and to walk, in the streets, because speed kills. And there's been a rash of speeding going on. And in MTA, when they do the Vision Zero reports, they need to, what is I going to say? Count injuries. When a person gets hit by a car, it's just a matter of whether they're going to be, not make it or end up in the emergency room. So, they need to count their statistics. And well, that's all I have to say.
Okay, so basically it was accessibility in the muni buses, speed zones, and we got a little bit into the parking. So can we move on to digital equity, if that's the next one? If I'm reading the list right, and I think there was Peter's group, which had. Oh, Peter, you can read off who was in your group.
Yeah, thanks, Pi. It was me, Kate, Harry, Flor, and Florencia, Jane, and Anna. Kate is going to share back a little bit, and Kate, just tag me in if there's anything you need.
Hi, this is Kate speaking. Our campaign idea that would be pretty ready to go is to organize to push companies in the Bay Area to provide funding and in-kind donations of devices for programs that already exist, like the Community Tech Network and the Center for Accessible Technology, which would increase access through providing people devices, Wi-Fi training, and navigators to support learning and connecting. Because basically what we've noticed is libraries, senior centers, they've shut down, and so their desktop computers are no longer accessible. And so people who depended on those computers suddenly don't have any access to the internet, and how can we fix this? And also pushing for more awareness of accessibility and training in these programs, possibly a partnership with Lighthouse for the Blind. We also discussed pushing large companies to actually make changes to their products like Facebook. But I think that idea probably needs more development to make it into what are specifically are we pushing for and what are the tactics that we should use. So that'd be a later in 2021 idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that it, folks, for that group?
Bueno, eso está bien por ese grupo, dice Peter. Ay, se puede silenciarse, Ligia, en este teléfono.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what? Can I let people know that any folks who are interested in the housing, one of the issues we identified was Assembly Bill 71, and I just realized there is, in the Chronicle today, front page of the Bay Area section, there is an article that discusses it if anybody wants to look it up.
Thank you. Were we getting, are we waiting for translation for additional information from this group?
Nope, we're all good. We can go ahead and hear
Okay.
from the last group.
So the last group, the other group, headed by Sarah.
Maria's going to do a report back for us.
Oh, okay. You want to do first? Oh, Maria's going to do yours? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so our group included David, Dorothy, Alice, Sarah, and myself. And we came up with four specific areas. We were other, and we could have been like, you know, we could have gone to the moon and back, but we stuck with four due to time constraints. And I'll just tell you what those are and then go back and fill in a little bit. So one main area was ableism and ageism campaign. We still have issues there. Number two was defending democracy, fighting fascism campaign. We're ambitious. And then the third was dealing with climate justice. And the fourth was how to incorporate the arts into our campaigns. So going back to, pardon? Okay, so going back to the ableism and ageism campaign, one concrete idea came up for a campaign was figuring out how to legislate reasonable accommodations in housing, healthcare, and transportation, because there's a belief that there isn't currently any law that facilitates this. We also thought that having discussions in regards to the isms would be good as general meeting discussions. Or another idea was perhaps just as we have a ableism workshop, that we could try to come up with one that would complement it and as far as being an ableism workshop. And because there are lots of issues that are coming up where personally that I know of a lot of retirees or older adults are being dismissed and discounted and kind of pushed out. And the idea is that it's to make room for the young, right? Which and the youth leadership, which I totally agree that youth leadership needs to be developed. But again, I won't editorialize. Okay, let's see. The third group in regards to defending democracy and fighting fascism. We're not real sure about how this campaign would work, but it does sound like a very timely subject and idea. We would want to explore to who would be actually the target in regards to dealing with this particular issue. Climate justice is that we believe that, again, it's a very timely issue that seems to have kind of taken a back seat because of the actual political climate that we're in. But this is something I think folks want to explore, especially in terms of how it intersects with racism and ageism and ableism. Lastly, we thought it would be great to promote the various arts as a medium for how do you say, supporting, not only supporting artists during this pandemic period, but also in terms of helping us get out our message in a very creative way and hopefully sparking other ideas and creativity. Anybody want to add or clarify? Okay.
Yeah, we had talked about the possibility of using arts and theater in our campaigns, street theater, arts as a media tool, that sort of thing. And then there are the book readings that we do now. And then just to correct, yeah, to add ageism to the ableism workshops, which Maria touched on.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Jessica, was that the complete breakout?
That was all the breakout rooms. So now we're ready to vote. So those of you that were around a year ago, remember that we usually go and put dots on butcher paper on the wall. So this year we have the Zoom version of that. We're going to go back in breakout rooms and you're going to have 2 votes on campaigns that you think should be SDA's top 2 priorities for the year. Again, it's not the only 2 things we'll work on, but the top 2 things that we want to put a lot of energy into. And so these should be things that you think are a really good focus for senior and disability action and something that you're interested in putting some energy into, okay? Even if you don't know all the details. So we're not gonna have any discussion time in the groups. I'm sorry. We're not even gonna have time for questions. It's just take your best guess, right? And which of the campaigns that we just talked about are you excited about? So we'll go in the group and each staff person has the document. They can read off the list and then just put the number of votes for each in your column. And then we're going to take this to our leadership retreat in a couple weeks and talk more about it, make final decisions, have an advocacy agenda to announce in February. So on that note, 5 minutes sound good? Okay, here you go. Tony, Sid, and Sylvia. Oh, there you go.
Jesus.
Hi. All right, I'm going to change the names to numbers if that's okay, so that we can tally them. Pi and Dawson, for this one where it says all of Pi's group, how many people is that?
5.
Okay, thanks.
Richard, Susie, Charles, Rebecca, Carmen. 5.
What happens to this group now?
What do you mean?
I was thinking, well, why not give a used car to the people who are about to lose their living space, so they can at least live inside the car, or camp out in the backyard of a friend or relative's house. That's what the last resort.
Freddie, Ray,
waiting
and
for
Alethea, I don't see your votes in here.
Oh, okay. So
Put
we
your numbers
have
in. No,
eviction.
just Lehia, just put your numbers in the document.
I did. I put mine.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
You did, Freddie. Great.
Yeah, mine is right next to it. I just put them in. We had a tie for second place.
I don't see it under Freddie's group. Where'd you put it?
Over on the right. I'll move it.
All the way to the right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you made your own.
Oh, you made another one. I didn't see it. Sorry. I saw it happening.
No, that's
Go
fine.
ahead.
I'm glad
Go
you
ahead.
have it. And Rhea, are you here? Do you have your votes?
I got most of them. I didn't get Ms. Taylor's yet. She was on the phone.
Oh, I thought it was 2 votes per group.
What
It's
time
2
did
votes.
this finish?
It's 2 votes for individuals.
You just multiply it by a group if your group came to a consensus around the two issues.
Perfect.
However many
Okay.
a strong block.
Okay. But where are we putting those? I'm sorry, I really don't get that.
I realize it's 12 o'clock. Are people interested in adding on 10 minutes, or should we just take 2 minutes and do announcements and wrap up?
Either way is fine with me.
Another 10 minutes should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to leave now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I want to hear what the group said, so I'd like it another 10 minminutes.
Well, okay, so what I'm wondering about is while we finish the votes and then do the tally, maybe we could do announcements. And Pi and Lehia, is there anything else we're trying to do before we wrap up?
No.
Okay, so should we jump to announcements then, and then we'll announce at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
David, I see you waving your hand. Do you have something you want to ask or say?
ahead.
I'd like to announce there's going to be a social and economic justice film festival
Just put it in the chat.
that I've been working on. I'm putting the website in the chat right now. It's mistyped. And it's January 23rd and 24th all day. I think the
Just a
tickets,
Saturday and a Sunday.
I think the tickets are going to be available tomorrow, and they're $10 or $15, and I think probably you can get it for free. Yes, and it's films from about racism, immigration, and labor, and many other topics like healthcare and environment. And they're from all over the world. They're from Argentina and Brazil. A lot of them are from Mexico, and many of them are in Spanish, but they have subtitles, and a lot on racism also in the United States. I guess that's it.
Thank you. I saw Sarah and then Pi. Was there anyone else that wanted to make an announcement while we're tallying things up?
Dawson also wanted to make an announcement.
Okay, Michael and then Dawson.
So I just want to announce something that Senior and Disability Action has been involved with. Jobs Justice is coordinating a campaign around the San Francisco Green New Deal, and there's going to be a really awesome two-part town hall meeting that you all are welcome to come to, and I hope that you will join. I'm going to put the link here to the information in, oh, that's not the link, that's something else. I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's February 3rd and February 10th from 5 to 7 each day. Of course, it's virtual, but it's super exciting moving forward a platform around the San Francisco Green New Deal. And we're talking about how seniors and people with disabilities will be affected by climate change as part of that. So please, I hope you all could come.
Who would like to be next?
Did you have an announcement, Pi? If not,
Yes, I do. Okay. Basically, it's interesting that we mentioned art is one of the things we want to incorporate. I wish to announce that SDA is working with on a grant to put art into one of our campaigns, and I'm going to be writing the letter of intent with a person from CLC. An artist there, and anybody who has any ideas, because this is just a letter of intent. So contact me, and I'm trying to put my email address in there, or give me a phone call, and I'm going to post that. But basically, this Friday, we're going to start writing the letter of intent, but we're looking for ideas, how to put art. Now, I don't mean Arthur, but art into our campaigns. Thank you.
Art into his campaign.
Wanted to let people know that next week, Tuesday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will have a patients' rights forum called Patient Rights in the Time of COVID. It was organized by the Care Rationing Working Group and HAT Group. So please invite people. You're welcome to come. I'm going to put the Zoom registration link and the Facebook event link in the chat. Check it out. Share the Facebook event to everyone. It's going to be on Zoom, of course, and register for the event so that you can get the link. Thank you.
Jay.
I forgot who was right after Dawson, but I see Karen's hand up, and then I see Mike. Was it? Oh, it was Michael Lyon. So Michael Lyon, Karen Fishkin, and then Mike.
Okay, so Gray Panthers is going to be having a meeting on Tuesday, January 19th at 1 p.m. on how the pandemic and the economic crisis is affecting the San Francisco budget and services. And you should email me, and my email is in the chat, mlyon comcast.net. So look in the chat, you'll find my email address, and then email me for information.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, this is Karen. That's what I was going to announce. So I just want to add that the focus on the budget is going to be looking especially at services for seniors and disabled, to see how they're going to be hit. And we have a panel including Jennifer Friedenbach from the Coalition on Homelessness, Marie Jobling representing the Dignity Fund, Shireen McSpadden, who heads up Department of Disability and Aging Services, and some representatives from one of the supervisor's offices. Should be a good meeting.
Sorry to interrupt. Did I see something posted earlier about an event this evening, or was that something else? Maybe I missed something. I thought I saw someone post an event.
Yeah,
an event.
this is Carmen. I posted, it was an art movies for grown-ups. It's a documentary called Aggie about a film collector who sells artworks and donates the proceeds for racial justice causes. And so I put the link on the chat box.
Oh, okay. I just didn't see it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Peter will be after Mike. Mike, you're next. Mike, are you ready? Or did you, your hand is up? I put you in for the announcements.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. January 23rd is Ed Roberts Day. Ed Roberts was called the Martin Luther King of Disability. And he always said San Francisco was a nursing home city because Laguna Honda is the largest nursing home in the United States. Joe Biden, the president-elect, said the 1999 Olmstead decision, which says nursing homes should be shut down and people should be served in their homes with home care. Ed made sure that there was home care in all 50 states. He basically broke the nursing home monopoly. And if you don't know about Ed Roberts, you really don't know anything about disability.
Yeah.
That's all.
Uh-oh. Peter, go ahead.
Oh, we're having little.
Thanks, Freddie. So just to announce 2 series of events, they're all virtual.
You should just do it. You don't
including one car caravan for MLK weekend. The first is to the Reclaim Dr. King's Radical Legacy weekend of events, hosted by Oakland Anti-Police Terror Project. There's a car caravan happening that will be live streamed. Many of us will be watching live stream. Some will be participating in the car caravan. I'm going to include the link to that series of events in the chat. I posted earlier, I'm going to repost it. And there's also the NorCal MLK Community Foundation's Justice and Hope 2021 virtual celebration of MLK weekend. A whole lot of different events going on in there. Virtual, I think I said that already, but if it isn't clear already, it's virtual. And I'm going to post that link again as well. That one also has some really cool cultural events like comics and arts festival. So I'm going to include those right now in the chat. One question, Jessica just put it in the chat, but if you would like to join us for that Zoom room, the live stream of the car caravan on Monday, there'll be actions for us to take in that room. There'll be time to be in community with each other. Please just put that in the chat or message us. Thanks so much.
In true SDA form, there will probably be music. We have lively Zoom conversations, so join. It's a good way to experience it and, you know, feel like we're doing something together in an action way and be with each other.
Yes, yes.
Are we ready to announce results and then we can let people go?
What time will that be?
It's from 12 to 4 on Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Should I certify the votes first?
Well, you already had your earthquake.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Maybe Michael should certify the votes.
No comment.
Who wants to announce the votes?
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it, Jessica.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Okay,
can't
I'm gonna
read
do
them,
it.
so.
All right, so we have about 6 that got a lot of votes. My pauses are to build the suspense. Is it working?
Yes.
So the top the top vote getter is rent relief, which I think was also tied in preventing evictions. So that's a great one.
Rent relief.
There were a couple under healthcare that got a lot of votes, the working on the vaccine and mental health SF. And then under home care, a pay raise for home care workers. There were 2 under transit that got a lot of votes. One was the transit ambassador idea and a citywide lower speed limit. And then the last thing with a bunch of votes is under digital equity to get more funding and support for tech access and training. Yay. Thanks so much, everyone. So if people didn't have a chance to vote, there will be other opportunities for input. And probably the best thing is if your program group hasn't met yet this month, be sure to go to that and share your thoughts there. And if you don't know when those meetings are coming up, get in touch with any of us on staff about it. And then some of you will be at the leadership retreat later this month. Sorry, Kate says, what is a program group? So I mean like the housing collaborative that meets on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, or Mad Mob, our mental health group, the transit justice group, HAT, the healthcare action team did already meet this month. Am I missing any program groups? Our CJA, African American Racial and Social Equity and Justice Alliance, our newest group. Okay.
Oh, so, yeah. Yeah. There'll be announcements for that coming up. We had to change the date, so we're finalizing that.
Okay, so it's 12:14. I'm going to turn it back over to Pi and Lihia to close us out.
What is your closing statement, Lydia?
Lihia, we can't hear you.
And she's noticing that. Okay. I just like to personally just say thank you for showing up and giving us all the feedback on the campaigns. I hope everybody survives this particular event. It seems like I'm going to. I don't know what else to say, but saying thank you to everybody for coming in, and we will get back to you about the campaigns that was brought up. You want to add on there, Jessica?
No, but I think Lihia can now.
Oh, I can do it now? Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody.
I was just holding space for you.
Thank you, everybody, for participating. We're gonna send the slides to everybody that we have emails for. I know that some people said that it would have been a lot easier if they were able to see, at least Lady Dharma said that, that to see the criteria so they can make a better decision on which campaign. So you can have that information and you can see, you know, how we make the decisions. And you know what? You even those other potential campaigns that didn't get the vote, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do anything about it. So stay connected to us, you know, in all our groups, and we continue to work together towards a better city, right? So take care, everybody. This was great. Thank you so much.
Thank
And if
you.
folks
Thank
want to stay
you.
on and chat, you're welcome to. If you didn't get a chance to vote, we can put your vote in. So we don't have to, you know, it's like when we're at the church and people stay and chat, we can still do that on Zoom if we want to.
Thank
Yeah,
you for being here,
I
Miss
would love for you.
Beverly. I miss you.
that was actually one
I
of
miss everybody. Take
popular
care,
Miss you too.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, you too.
Nice to be.
You guys too.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Take care.
Are there events on Ed Roberts Day? Are there events planned?
Ms. Taylor, if you want to vote now, let me know. Sorry to interrupt.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Alice, a good question. Mike, who made the announcement, has left. So let me just quickly pull it up and just see what's happening.
Yeah, I really feel, we should be following up on that and see, as you say, what events might take place, and get the word out to everybody, maybe in our SDA newsletter, electronic newsletter, to really highlight Martin Luther King Day and Ed Roberts Day, and say a little about Ed Roberts, since some people may not know what he accomplished.
Well, I was thinking, because the movie festival I'm doing on that day is going to have some extra time in between the movies, and we could mention something possibly about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will include that in the newsletter, whatever events we are aware of. I haven't finalized the newsletter, but it's going out pretty soon. We have the information about the MLK Day events, which will be included in that, following up from the COVID meeting last week, and some information about the upcoming Patients' Rights Forum. But we can include the information about Ed Roberts Day there for sure.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all for asking that. Betty, I know why you didn't get the email, and it's sorry about that. I know what happened.
Okay.
So it should be resolved now, but your email might block it again. I'm not sure. We'll have to keep troubleshooting.
Okay.
I can maybe send you a test and we'll try it out.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to head out. Get some lunch.
Nice to see you, Betty.
If we don't have lunch for
I know. No one's brought us lunch.
Yeah. Okay. See you next time, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone. Peter, are you the host now?
I
Could
am
I
now
just
the
ask
host.
a question?
Mm-hmm.
Along with, we agreed to do the one about the tech equality. Can you do that in tandem with trying to get the tech industries to, a tax on them? Can we work together? Can those go hand in hand? I think we need to hold the industry responsible for the city, since
Very possibly, Liza. So the main, yes, Rhea, 1 second, I'll put you two in a breakout room so you can finish the voting. So the main goal of this meeting is to determine the overall topic, not to yet get into the full nitty gritty of the details about who the targets will be, the specific demands. So if you have thoughts on those, that'll be developing, and you'll have a chance to sort of shape and craft how the actual details of the campaign come together. I completely agree with you that's a huge part of what we need to be doing, is making sure that tech is held accountable. That was one of the big focuses in the conversation in the room, because people wanted to make sure that we weren't just pushing the government to pay for these, we were pushing tech to fulfill their obligation to the community and pay for these types of programs.
Thanks. Great. I just wanted some clarity on that. All right,
Totally.
Al, thank you so much. Appreciate everything. And I'll see you all soon.
Thanks. Does anyone else have anything on their mind? Rhea and Beverly are just doing their voting. Cool.
It was a bit hectic today from my point of view.
A little bit, yeah.
And
We are still recording. I can pause it though. We're done.
Yeah.